win. I am down and willing, so I will find a way. It took a minute, now it didn't happen right away. When it get hot in the kitchen, you decide to stay. That's how it winners made. Stick a fork in the hater on my dinner plate. I walk into the fire like it's just a bit of flame. I switch my style up, watch the money pile up. I'ma get rich with life.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Podcast. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I'm the Clydesdale. We are here featuring the athletes of the 2024 Legends Masters CrossFit Games. And I'm so pumped to have with me Laura Redman. Laura, how you doing?
So happy to be here.
Yeah, so I've been doing some research on you. And you were a runner for a very long time.
Yeah, I ran in college. I ran for Purdue. I ran track and field and cross country, and decided that wasn't enough. And after college, I ran, you could call it semi-professionally, for Brooks. I ran the mile a little bit post-collegiately, and then also ran the marathon, and I ran at the Olympic trials in 2012.
Wow. So it's what's wild to me is I'm just starting the profiles of all the athletes that are competing at the CrossFit Games. So many of you guys have had like really cool life experiences. Like last night, I talked to Lacey Truelove, who competed at the Olympic trials in diving.
Oh, that's awesome. I've been listening to a lot of the interviews too, and love learning about the athletes. But yeah, it's so cool that we can have such varied backgrounds. So awesome.
So have you always been an Indiana girl?
Yeah, yes.
And you just stayed close to home for college?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not too far at Purdue, and then moved back home. Back home meaning Indy area, and I'm still in Indy today, so must not be too bad.
So what's funny is my background is swimming, and I was just over in Indianapolis for the swimming Olympic trials.
Yeah,
which was such a cool event.
I wish I could have made it down there. I heard it was amazing.
To build 3 pools in Lucas Oil Stadium on a football field was
right. Did you see the time lapse of it that they had? That was really cool too.
What was wild to me is that you're walking into a football stadium, but it smells like a swimming pool.
Right. Right.
Yeah, which was very bizarre, but it's so cool and such a cool experience to get to watch that live.
How long were you in Indy for the trials?
We did the first weekend.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So I got to see Katie Ledecky, who like completely dominated the 1500 yesterday, which was one of my events in college.
Awesome. Where did you swim?
I swam at Ohio State.
Oh, the Ohio State.
Yeah, as a walk-on.
Nice.
It wasn't my dream. My dream was actually to go Division II, but I wasn't good enough to get on the Division II team I wanted to be on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I walked on at Ohio State, which is bizarre just to...
Right. Right. You wouldn't normally be saying that for most sports or situations.
I grew up in such a small town that like Ohio State was so overwhelming to me.
Well, yeah. It is. It's huge.
Yeah, like 62,000 students or something.
Oh
my hometown only had 10,000 people.
Oh, yeah. Then that's a huge change.
Yeah, it's crazy. But not enough about me. So did you run in high school or before that?
I would say like my success in running came later in high school. I tried to play volleyball and got cut, and then got into running, and then I got more serious about it my senior year and really fell in love with it. And then in college, like we had a lot of coaching changes. I had injuries. So like I think a lot of athletes leave burnt out from college. And I was like just getting started. Like I didn't want to stop. I wanted to get more mileage. I wanted to compete at a bigger stage. And I had just an awesome opportunity with Brooks. It's also how I met my husband and how we connected, because he was the team. We trained together, and it's weird to think that I ran post-collegiately from 2007 to 2012, which is only, 5 years, and I've been doing CrossFit twice that amount of time. It's just really an odd thing to think about back on, because running seems like another lifetime.
So you cut out just briefly when you talked about your husband and what he does.
Yeah.
What he did and how you kind of connected.
Mm-hmm.
What was that again?
So Brooks, like the running shoe, they created a team. We were semi-professional. It was out of Bloomington, and they had all these, like, they had guys on the team, but they also wanted females for us to get sponsorship. So they built the team with a handful of ladies, a handful of guys, and he was on the team as well. And we had the same coach. We kind of knew each other through running, and we trained together here in Indy, and, started dating, and we were, married a few years after that.
So most people think of running as this like bit of solitude where you kind of get out there on your own. And here you start dating one of the other runners. Was it less solitude, or did you still have your like lone moments?
Well, I mean, we had, so in running world, like the Sunday long run is like a big part of our training, where we spend, 2 to 3 hours doing this long run. And the group was primarily guys. So I feel like my strides in running were made through running with him, because it was super uncomfortable for me, and doing these long runs, because you want to connect and talk. I would say like the solitude in running came later when I was training for the marathon. I was putting a lot more miles in by myself at that time, which I think is truly important too, because when in any sport, you have to be able to push through that point of pain and know how to handle those thoughts. You can only do that if you've gone through it alone,
So how do you get from cross country and track in college to the Olympic trials? Like, what was it, a goal you had and then you started to strive for it? And do you have to go to certain meets to qualify?
So there's a standard that you have to hit to run in the Olympic trials. I knew what the standard was. And I was like, I think I can do that. I had to callous my body over, years to get to running 100 miles a week, which is what I was averaging when I went to the trials. So I knew I needed to run about like 6:13 pace, which is I think it's like a 2:46 marathon. And I knew if you can get through the training, you can pretty much physically take your body there. You just know, and then know the day of, like, the hay's in the barn, like, I got this. So it wasn't always a dream of mine. It kind of just became an opportunity. And like, once I set my mind to it, there's no way it wasn't going to happen.
That's a novel concept to me, because as a swimmer, the only end result to be the best is the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Like from the age of 5, if you want to be the best, it ends with the Olympics. Right. So for you to like late in life, just go, what the heck, we'll give this a try, is just a very bizarre concept to me.
It kind of is, especially because, like, you think of the marathon of, like, I mean, there's not too many you can do. You can, it's not like you can go to race after race. I was a miler and tried to qualify for the trials and, US championships multiple times and failing. So that was always my goal, meaning after college. But I think that I saw that the trials standard was very attainable. And I was like, I'm going to do it.
So I saw your time. I think you posted on your CrossFit profile that you hit was 2:41:05.
I ran 2:41 at the trials. Yes.
Is that your best marathon, or have you gone faster?
Yeah, I mean, that was my last marathon that I ever ran. And I was super proud of it. I wanted to go sub 240, and the plan was to run the plan was to run another marathon in Chicago that year. But when it came down to time to train, my heart wasn't in it. I knew that I couldn't put my body through it if my mind and my heart wasn't in it. So I was like, I'm gonna go check out CrossFit.
So that's when you found CrossFit. Was you were just done? It sounds sounds like Forrest Gump, like
right?
Running, and he kept running, and one day he goes, you know what? I was done.
Well, I mean, the truth is, my husband had already started CrossFit for about a year, and he absolutely loved it, and I did not understand it at all. Like, I remember going to watch and being like, why are you guys like stopping in the middle of a workout? That makes no sense to me, because like a runner, we don't stop in the middle of our race. But he's like, you should try out a class. And I was like, sure. I can't do an air squat, but let's try.
So many questions. So your running career starts late in your high school.
Uh-huh.
Your marathon career starts late after college.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go into CrossFit,
and you're
being humbled again, right? To start from scratch.
Yeah. I think I was 28 or 29 when I started CrossFit.
So what is that? Are you just used to starting from scratch on things, or was it humbling to you?
Oh, it's always humbling. But I think I love the challenge of that, and sort of being like not having an expectation and being an underdog. And I think that kind of motivates me.
Do you think that CrossFit gave you something for the first time that you couldn't master? Like, because there are so many elements.
Yes.
You're always working on something.
I think that's why, why myself and masters continue to do it. Sometimes people in the gym ask me that, and it's like, well, I'm not going to stop. There's always something to work on. There's always something to get better at. And as you get older, I'm sure like the other masters will agree with this. It's kind of like, well, I mean, I might not see these PRs, like I was before, but there's something else that might, that you might notice that feels better, or that like you've improved on.
Yeah. I started in 2011. PRs are like
right
non-existent at this point.
Right.
Right. But you're like, I think we look at PRs as an individual movement, but you can get overall fitness better.
Absolutely.
And you'll do better in a workout than you would have a year ago.
Right. Absolutely. Like the movement might feel better. You might feel more confident. You're able to do, this weight in a workout comfortably, or handstand push-ups or ring muscle-ups or whatever it may be.
Just gaining efficiency so you're not as tired through a workout.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a cool thing. I wish it existed when I retired from swimming, because I think I'd be in a different place in life today if it was. But you're kind of OG. Like, you've been doing this since 2013.
Yeah. Back when like our team went to regionals in Columbus. And we used to say that the athletes were in the back smoking cigs and like eating snacks. Like, it was just so different. Like they used to have like strawberries and like snacks out for us. It was just a different time. It was fun.
Yeah, I was volunteering during those times, and if you went back into the volunteer area, there were like bowls of M&Ms, dried mangoes, and some nuts.
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. I love it. I'm so thankful for those experiences. And it's, I talk to some of the younger and newer athletes in our gym, and it's weird that like they don't have any idea what it was like before everything changed and went to semifinals and all of that.
Regionals were the best.
Yeah.
You and I were in the same region. So like I was a volunteer. I was very familiar with Three Kings.
Yeah.
We're always top 10 teams during regionals, in a very stacked central region.
Yeah. Been around for a long time, lots of teams, lots of individuals, and it's a great gym.
Yeah. And you've done it through semifinals even the last 3 years?
No,
You're an alternate.
yeah, we were, so 2019 was weird, right? And 2020, I had a kid that year. And then 21, we were supposed to have a team. It didn't work out. And then, so I just been focusing on masters the last couple of years. And then last year, I was like the oldest in the age group. So I did my best. And then this year had the opportunity to go on a team, which I said I would never do again. But I'm so thankful I did. It was so fun. And I kind of just had the motto of like, I might not get this opportunity again. And it was the right people, and it was really fun.
So did you compete at the Syndicate Crown?
I did. Yeah.
Being 40 and competing against the elites.
Yeah.
Was it just a soak it in moment?
Oh yeah. It definitely was, especially since it'd been a while. It'd been since 2018. Since I'd been to a regional or semifinal, and I thought that would be my last time. And we really wanted to make the games that year. There was a lot of pressure. I think we finished 7th in a super tough regional. But this year, it was so much more enjoyable. There's no pressure. We still finished, 17th, and we were just right in the middle of the pack. But it was also like looking around like, oh my gosh, these people are half my age. But also Deanna Posey was on one of the Mayhem teams, and she's in the older age group than me. So I was like, if this badass is doing it, so can I. But also if like any of those youngins were complaining, I was kind of like, you have no idea like how bad I'm hurting.
How much help do you think that was, though, to go through a competition weekend with 5 events in a short amount of time?
Yeah.
And now you're going to have to do it again as an individual. It'll be like 4 days with maybe a few more events. Just the recovery, the pace. Does that help you out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just because it'd been so long since I'd been on a stage like that, I wanted to have that experience. It gives me confidence. Physically, I know I can recover, but also just being out on the floor in front of a judge, and like, how do you respond in that situation? So I didn't look at it as like, oh, I'm not focusing on myself, meaning for the games or my training, because honestly, when I got back from semifinals, I felt so motivated to train for the games for masters.
So I'm in awe of all of you. I had Haley Queller on this morning. She's a doctor and mother of 4. You're a traveling nurse and a mother of 2. Like, I can't even imagine the stresses and the time constraints behind that, and still have time to train.
Yeah, and I'm gonna correct you just because this past year I transitioned into a new role, so I'm not in nursing anymore.
Okay.
I'm in medical device. So I'm still in the operating room and I'm still in the medical field, but I think transitioning out of nursing has contributed to my success exponentially, because I'm not on my feet all day long. I'm able to recover. My stress level is lower, but it's a lot of work, and managing the schedule of work and working out and my family and trying to keep them as number one is, I mean, I don't know if I'm doing a good job at all, because every day is kind of chaos, but I'm trying my best.
Yeah, I talked to Lacey last night, was saying that when you're trying to balance everything, you always feel like you're mediocre at all of it.
I'd agree with that. I think we're all like our worst critics. We're so hard on ourselves. There's a little element of guilt, but we are also able to multitask, and it's okay to put a goal in front of you and do what you need to do to achieve it, because life is short, and if you have an opportunity, you got to take advantage of it.
The other thing I framed to them is that there's a bit of selfishness that has to happen for you to train for an event like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was said that there's a guilty feeling that comes along with that, and you have to forgive yourself. It's a season.
Yeah.
You're just trying to accomplish this one thing, and you can make up for it when this season's over.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. It is a season, and you're like, you tell yourself, I'm going to be more available, but isn't it also equally important to set the example to your kids? Like, you should have goals and do what you need to do to accomplish them. And I'm super careful with my schedule, making sure that I'm not disrupting my kids, or I'm able to get them from school and take them to where they need to be. But I think it's you gotta set a good example for them too.
Well, how old are your kids?
7 and 5 next week.
Are they in activities of their own at this point?
Yeah, one's swimming and the other is soccer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Swimming is, I don't know how my parents did it. I really
We're
don't.
like just starting, so
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna be.
Yeah. And I played a sport every season, so like I still don't know how my dad worked insane hours and still made it to every event.
That's awesome. I mean, it's hard.
It is. So when you stopped being a nurse, was it the decision wasn't solely based on your athletic career, right? It was more on life itself.
No, correct. I think I'd been an OR nurse for 16 years. I was a travel nurse for a while too. I felt like I was trying to manipulate my schedule to like be able to be with my kids more, and working out was at the very, very bottom of the list. It was just if you have time. And the opportunity to take this position came about, and I was like, this is going to provide the most flexibility for my family going forward.
And the byproduct of that is that you are a better athlete today because of it.
Yes.
And is that why you think you saw the dramatic improvement, like to make games, or was it just turning 40?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect storm.
Yeah.
So who you taking to Birmingham with you?
I guess I'll take my husband. He's coming with me. I said he has to carry my bag.
There you go. So he's your coach?
So no, he's not my coach. During the year and all years past, I've always just done like a hodgepodge. I've always done Invictus, weightlifting. And then for workouts, I'll just jump in with whoever's at our gym. We have like so many good people. Our class workouts are really good. I mean, and after semifinals for team this year, I was like, I want to get a coach to give me some structure instead of like just pulling some random stuff together. So Holden Rathwell is my coach from Invictus.
Nice.
He unfortunately will be at the teens. So
Man,
I know what you want to say.
Well, I did a show with a mother and daughter who both qualified.
Oh, really?
And that they can't be at each other's event.
Oh,
so yeah.
I mean, come
I think
on.
I think I said enough in that episode that I don't need to say it again here.
Okay.
Yeah. Why are we splitting up viewers? Why are we splitting up spectators?
Right.
In different locations.
Right.
Why not hold them together and only pay for one venue and have all the stream and everything at one place?
Yeah, I'm with you. That makes sense. I'm sure there was a lot more that went into it that I know about, you know?
Yeah. I speak my mind too often, and then I text from so I had that episode, and Joe reached out to me and like, do you need me to explain to you why they're in two different locations? And I'm like, I know you can't change it now.
Right.
But I do see the frustration.
Right.
With a lot of families. Yeah. So you go into the games, your husband's going with you. And when I said coach, like if you get a coach to be able to go backstage with you, he'll be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically your caddy for the weekend.
No, that's mean. I shouldn't say that. He's much more supportive than that. He's got my back. He knows all about my training.
So I say caddy because that's what Matt O'Keefe always called himself when he would go back with Matt Fraser.
Okay. Yeah. Caddy.
Yeah. That, you give advice, but you're really just holding the bag and, so, realistic expectations this year?
My goal is to be top 10.
Yeah. Throwing it out there. Nice. I love it. I'm trying to look at you. So you finished 10th at semis.
I did.
That is a very realistic expectation.
Very realistic.
And it doesn't hurt that you got some race experience already this year.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be your first time at a live comp going against head to head with other people.
Right. I think that, that will definitely help. Gives me the confidence. I'll feel ready.
How excited are you? This is your first trip to the games.
Yeah.
Are you excited that it's by itself, or did you have your heart set on the big festival with the elites and everybody else?
I mean, I kind of have mixed emotions about that, especially since I finished 10th, since it used to be 10. I truly feel like I just want to go compete against the best in the world. I don't care where it is or who it's with. The goal is the same, to go be with the best.
I think that if enough people show up and enough people watch, this can be something super cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know there's very mixed reviews from the athletes and thinking, are we an afterthought or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, like if competing is what's important to you, we're not doing it to be, stars. At least I'm not. Like we want to go compete and see who's the best. It's totally fine to give us our own venue, our own weekend. Our fans and friends and family are going to be the ones that go to watch us. So if it means taking 40 and growing it and have an awesome first year, then let's do it.
So this is a little bit of just a riff on my part, and that is that we did some research, and the athletes from 35 to 49 collectively have almost 3 million followers on Instagram.
Oof.
That is a lot. That's a lot of eyes that could be. And if we get away from old school thinking and promote, there are fans of these athletes that want to see them. And maybe having your own show is going to be the best result.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, before the season ever started, my focus was you guys. I wanted this to be a great year for you guys, and I wanted to put our whole heart and soul into this and highlight everything you guys have done.
Well, I think that's totally awesome. You're growing the sport. You're helping us out, just showing your love for all of us and giving us the exposure that, you know, people want to see and learn about.
The fact that this is a collective of men and women who work full-time jobs. This is a part-time thing for them, and they're doing amazing feats.
Yeah.
Amazing feats. And they have families they need to be with.
Yeah.
Balance all of that and still pull off the amazing things.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, I think we deserve more respect than we get.
I agree. And with that, I want to thank you so much for being on here. As I told you before we went on air, we'll be there in Birmingham, behind the scenes, chatting with you all and trying to collect all that into a documentary.
Can't wait. So excited. So
I cannot wait to meet you in person. Thank you for being on. Thank you for joining us today. And we will see everybody next time on the Clydesdale Media Podcast. And I've lost my mouth. There it is. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Bye, guys.
Bye.